Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS 98.1 FM and AM 1220. This is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. And Tori, we have a very special guest in studio.
Yeah, we do. It's Leah Parker. She is from the Child and Family Domestic Violence Center. So welcome, Leah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Little chilly this morning, but...
just a tad.
But it's nice. It's fall, right?
I love fall, so I am embracing any bit of anything less than 80. I am fully saying welcome.
You and me both. Leah is going to be talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is October.
Yeah.
What should we know?
So October, like you said, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and what we wanted to kind of come out and share with you is just some awareness things that we have going on around town that the community can really get involved in.
Like?
We have one thing that we've been doing the last couple weeks is called Our Voices of Power. It's an interactive billboard that we kind of created, and we've been doing it at the College of the Canyons. Last week we were at CCC, so the college, our Canyon Country campus. What it is this large billboard that has a picture of a woman who needs help. You can tell she's been abused, she's got bruises, and the community can come up, and if they see it, we challenge them, you see it, now you can change it. They can come up and take a piece. It's like a puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they take a piece off the puzzle, and then it starts to reveal a healed picture of the same lady underneath. And what it is basically saying that the more that we talk about it, the more that we see it, the more we normalize the talk about domestic violence in Santa Clarita, the healthier it is for the survivors to come out and grab help and to let them know that, hey, we are on their side, we believe them, and we're going to stand with them. And then we have this huge pledge that people get to sign after they do that too, and it's been amazing just to see the names continue to grow and grow as more and more students continue to grab pieces off and say, like, we're not going to stand for this on our campus, we're not going to stand for this in our community, and we're going to make a change. So that's one way that the community can come out and see that. We have it coming up this upcoming Wednesday at the 24th from 11 to 2 at College of the Canyons in Valencia.
College of the Canyons, Valencia. Do you think, when I was a kid, this wasn't spoken about? It absolutely happened when I was a kid, but it wasn't. I don't think people, it was something we didn't speak of. If, there was an abuse in the family, husband and wife, whatever, it wasn't, we don't talk about that. We just sweep it under the rug. Do you think when OJ, that whole thing with OJ and Nicole Brown Simpson happened, do you think that was like the turning, the tide turning around? Because it seems...
I would definitely think that any way that DV is probably brought out into the public on a media standpoint, especially something as viral as OJ, when we see things coming forward more and more with, like, all the cases recently, actually.
All the movements, right?
Movements. I think a big turning one was the Me Too movement that we saw recently, too, is that the more vocal it becomes in the media, the more the communities that watch it are saying, well, yeah, that's happening to me, too. And if that person can get help, and if it's happening on that level, then why can't I say something? And they start to stand up and start becoming more empowered as more and more survivors come forward with their stories and say, I'm going to, absolutely.
That's the whole point, because we're talking about, these movements that are happening, not necessarily are recent. It was, shh, don't say anything, because people will blame me. They won't see my side of it. I'll just, let me just keep quiet. It'll go away. And I think we're changing that. And it's so great that we're changing that, because people, there's no more bad stigma on the victim anymore. And which I think that is what we needed a lot of.
Yeah, it's slowly changing to an empowerment of survivors instead of a shame and a guilt thing that we saw, where a lot of times they don't say anything because they feel that shame. They're threatened that if they say anything, I'm going to do whatever. I know this is a community radio station, so I don't want to go into too much detail on the threats that they've had, but the more, like we said earlier, the more survivors that come forward, they feel more empowered, and people start to say stuff, and then it starts to shift that culture from victim blaming to victim empowering.
Your title is Youth Prevention Specialist.
Yes.
Do you believe there are younger victims? Because this makes me sad to even think, someone maybe 18, 19, 20, 21 would be going through something like this. But if your title at the domestic violence program is youth prevention specialist. There must be a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually there's some statistics that, of course, are not in my brain at the moment, but 1 out of 10 high school students will experience an abusive relationship.
In high school?
In high school, starting as young as 14.
Now, the abuse comes from a boyfriend, girlfriend, or are you talking parents?
No, a boyfriend, girlfriend, a significant other.
In high school?
In high school. We've actually had teenagers that have come into our agency seeking services, seeking help. So that I would be the person that they would meet with to talk over. I do educational pieces in the high schools to kind of raise awareness of what warning signs should they be looking out for. Jealousy is not a normal thing. When it's a continued behavior that they see, because they start to write off like, oh, they just love me, they just care about me.
Right.
They're so inexperienced with relationships that they don't realize that it could actually be very unhealthy. So my job is to go and kind of help them understand what red flags they should be keeping tabs of. And it's like, if you're
where that line is.
Absolutely. If you continue to see this red flag pop up and pop up and pop up, and you no longer feel safe in that relationship, don't stay in it, because teens are in relationships and it's what you do at this age.
Right.
Get help and realize that this is a cycle that you can be trapped in for a long time.
Good point. Cycle.
Yeah.
So have you, in any of these cases, the 1 out of 10, do you see that the parents maybe are also abusive and that's a learned behavior for the child?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a generational cycle that we see where if they're raised in a home that doesn't have a healthy example of what a relationship should look like, then they're more inclined to be drawn to those similar relationships, whether a son who sees that becomes a batterer, or a woman becomes more of drawn to an abusive relationship because that's all they've ever known. They
think it's right.
Yeah, they equate that with a normal relationship, and so they don't bat an eye when they get pushed or they get shoved or manipulated or their consent is taken away. Things like that, they don't bat an eye because it's been normalized in their lives.
Exactly.
So my role is to help break that cycle and to help them realize that they have the power to change that within their families.
We're talking with Leah Parker from the Child and Family Domestic Violence Center, who is the youth prevention specialist. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You were talking about COC's campuses and the interactive billboards. Is there anything else coming up that we need to know about?
Yeah, of course. So we do have a haunted house that we're partnering with. I know it's Halloween. Everyone's looking for that scare. So we do have a haunted house. It is in Saugus. It's October 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th from 7 to 10 p.m. It's called Beware the Dark Realm. The address is on their website at bewarethedarkrealm.com. Buy a front-of-the-line pass, and all the proceeds come to our agency to help us to continue to provide services in Santa Clarita, from our prevention side all the way through our intervention and services and support for our survivors.
Total win-win.
Yeah.
You get to have a little fun.
Absolutely.
Little scare zone, and then also help this very worthy cause. Leah Parker from the Child and Family Domestic Violence Center, DVC/SCV.com?
Actually, that's changed.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me.
So we recently merged with Child and Family Center. So we are Child and Family Center's domestic violence program. So all our information you can find at childfamilycenter.org.
That's perfect. Childfamilycenter.org. Leah, it's been a pleasure. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.